Welcome to a special YouTube edition of Draft Deeper. My name is Nathan Grubel, and I'm here with a very special guest. You would know him as point guard for the Wichita State this past season, but certainly one of my favorite potential two-way prospects in this draft class. I'm writing words about him as one of my guys on NoCeilingsNBA.com. Make sure you check that out when it drops. But Craig Porter Jr. is in the house with me. Craig, how you doing, my man?
Doing pretty good. Couldn't be more blessed.
Absolutely. So Craig is certainly one of the hardest workers in this draft class. I know that because he has certainly emerged on the radar as someone who's doing a lot of team workouts these days, right? What are the NBA teams you've worked out with so far?
I've had the Dallas Mavericks, Golden State, Boston, Detroit, and just finished up the Magic yesterday.
Those are a lot of good organizations on that list, huh? A lot of smart organizations. So that says a lot. If they're interested in bringing you in for a workout, that means you should be on some more teams' radars here. So, Craig, we're going to get into plenty of what you do on the basketball court, but I just want to start off with some light stuff to let people get to know you. So, Craig Porter Jr., we'll get into who you are on the court, but off the court, what are some of the favorite things you like to do? Who you hanging out with? Like, who is Craig Porter Jr. off the court as much as he is on the court?
Really, outside of basketball, I'm really just chilling in the house. Watching movies, playing my game, spending time with families. A lot of what I do. Even when I was up in Wichita, my mom, she moved out there with me for the last 2 years. So really just spending a lot of time with her is what I did on my off time.
Okay, what kind of games you playing?
Call of Duty, 2K,
Okay.
Fortnite, any and everything. So.
Love playing 2K. I love playing Call of Duty as well. That's a big game where my friends and I stay in touch throughout the week. Unfortunately, I'm not the best anymore as I once was, so I tend to rage quit sometimes, and so my friends got to hold me accountable on that one. But Call of Duty is a great game for sure. You listen to a lot of music?
Oh yeah, definitely. I got a wide variety. Anywhere from R&B to rap. I listen to it all, honestly.
Okay, I'm a hip hop and R&B guy myself. Who are some of your favorite artists to listen to?
Probably just the mainstreams, Lil Durk, Lil Baby, a bunch of those. Really, yeah, those and Future. Future's probably one of my top ones.
Oh, Future has to be up there,
Yeah,
right? That man makes music for everything,
yeah.
especially when you're getting ready pregame. Come on, you got to have the hype songs going from Future for sure. Okay, so you started your playing career outside of D1 college basketball, right? Like when people are evaluating prospects for the NBA draft and they go to look at some of the background information, they're used to finding, this is a top X recruit who's going to Kentucky or Duke or Alabama or whatever the case may be. But you actually grinded your way up to D1 basketball and you ultimately got to play for Wichita State. So what is that grind like for people who are unaware of what it actually takes to start where you started and get to where you were to be in this position? What does that work like? Like how much goes into that?
It's a lot different. Taking the JUCO route. Even when I first had got there, I didn't play right away. I didn't get what I thought I was going to get. So really just having to work into a role and work into a position to help your team. You kind of start to understand that the process is bigger than just you. You got to figure out a way to get onto the court and then stay on the court. So really just working hard and finding a way to where your place is going to be on that team. And really, there was times where we had practices for 5 and 6 hours a day. We were missing meals. So really,
Mhm.
it's a different type of grind. There's almost no rules in JUCO. So it's really, like I said, a different type of grind, honestly.
Going through all of that though, doesn't that sort of give you a greater belief in yourself? Like if I can overcome some of these challenges to make it to where I am now, why can't I overcome even more challenges and really get to where I want to be and fulfill my dreams? You get that sense of accomplishment going through that?
Yeah, definitely. Even with a lot of people who knew my coach at my junior college, they kind of told me anything you deal with him, if you can get through it, you can deal with anybody. So really, just having that mindset just kind of led me to where I am today. So.
Absolutely. So your first year at Wichita State, you didn't have a large role on the team, but last year and now really this past year, that role completely reversed, right? You were the man on this team. You were the point guard, the leader. What was your experience like at Wichita State from start to finish? And why do you think you were ultimately able to take on that larger role that you did? Like what goes into you actually becoming a leader on the team?
It was kind of similar to junior college. I mean, my first year, I was kind of a role player who had some great guards and great players around me, so I didn't really have to do too much of leading. Really, just was filling in a role. But going into my second year of junior college, I had to be the lead guard. I had to take over the team and do a little bit of everything, like I did these past 2 years at Wichita. So really, I mean, I feel like my coaches at Wichita State, they just kind of challenged me. Were leaning on me a little bit more because, I mean, bringing in a lot of new guys, you kind of need a player and a coach to be, I mean, almost best friends and just kind of take over the team and get guys to do the right things and get guys to trust you and just kind of building that trust amongst everybody to have that one common goal, I would say. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the challenge, it was definitely difficult at times, but I mean, I feel like me and my coaches, we did the best that we could, and I mean, it worked out for all of us.
Absolutely. I love that answer because as a point guard, you have to be not only a leader in terms of how you yourself are motivating your teammates, but you really have to be like an extension of the coach on the court, right? So if you're able to embody the message that he's bringing to the table and you're able to convey that to your teammates and get all of them to buy in, I mean, that speaks volumes to not only what you can accomplish at college, but potentially at the NBA level. So getting into more of your game, how would you classify yourself as a player? Like what do you feel like are your strengths and what you're really bringing to the table on the court?
Honestly, really a little bit of everything. Being able to defend multiple positions, being able to
Mm-hmm.
block shots, read passing lanes, stuff like that. Playmaking, obviously. I could definitely improve on my shooting, but I mean, even still, I feel like I'm a pretty good shooter. Just need to be a little bit more aggressive. But really, I mean, a little bit of everything is what I can do, and I mean, I feel like I've showcased that everywhere I've been. So.
You have, and I'm glad that you started with defense because that's what I would write in your scouting reports in all capital letters and multiple exclamation points after that, right? So that I've interviewed some players before and I talked to them about their defense and what really stands out. But the thing I always want to start with on defense is that mentality that doesn't come from nowhere. Like to actually, every single minute of the game, you're keeping up with somebody, you're constantly reading, you're keeping your head on a swivel. That ability, that mentality to buy into that side of the court each and every single possession. Where does that come from you?
Really, I mean, I would say even before junior college, really when I was in about middle school, one of my AAU coaches I had played with, he was a really defensive minded coach, and he kind of just conveyed that message to me because I was a lot smaller at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
really, he was just telling me, I mean, if you can be good at defense at this point in your career, I mean, it'll carry over, and you won't have to worry about it going down the line. So I mean, I really feel like I could give a lot of credit to him and how he just pushed me to be better at defense and just worked with me on different little things. And then as the years got over and kept going, and I got a lot bigger, stronger, and just a better understanding of the game, I mean, it kind of just came naturally to me, and it was something that I just took a lot of pride in.
Absolutely, and you could certainly tell that. I mean, when you're watching the tape, I mean, your effort level, how you're everywhere at the same time, it's really impressive from a guard as well. And it's not just the steals. Your block rate for a guard is freaking ridiculous. Like if we go through some of the stats, you have I wrote this down specifically at 5 block percentage. Normally, that's like a number that's reserved for like wings and forwards and players who are certainly bigger in stature than you, but that mentality, that aggressiveness, and going up to block shots. Like, is that one of your favorite things to do on the basketball court? Like, take something away from somebody else?
Yeah, it's definitely something I like doing a lot. Really, it's a lot easier for me. I feel like because a lot of times people don't expect me to do it, so really, I feel like that's why I catch people off guard a lot of times. But I mean, even just talking to a lot of my former opponents, I mean, they just tell me a lot of times their scouting report was anytime you see him, just pump fake him. So I mean, even just hearing that, it was kind of fun to hear that. So.
Absolutely. That becoming better as a defensive playmaker, is that more so you just continuing to play the game and you just keep getting reps and you just keep adjusting to the speeds and everyone else? Is that how much you put into reading other scouting reports or watching film back? Like how have you steadily improved in that? Where would you say you attribute most to making those improvements in your game?
Really, like you said, just watching a lot of film, just
Love
understanding
it.
tendencies of other people, and just really just getting a good feel for the game. I mean, as I've been playing basketball for almost 15 or more years, I mean, I've kind of played against everybody who can do almost anything I could expect. So really, just understanding and getting a good feel for what people do, and just trying to anticipate and get ahead of what they would do before they do it.
Absolutely. So playing defense, I always say that it's more than just your physical characteristics, your size, your length. It really is about your heart and how much you want to buy into playing on that side of the floor. Would you ultimately agree with that statement when you look around at some of your other peers and how the game's evolved and changed? And, we want to look at different positions and say, oh, you're too small, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. But especially on defense, I really buy into it. It's more about what you want to do on that side of the ball and how much you're buying in. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, it's really everything you just hit on. I mean, if you got the heart to do it, it's almost anybody. I feel like I could guard and stop. I mean, if you put me up against anybody, honestly, I feel like I could get a stop or a block on them. So I mean, it's really like you said, that heart.
I love that answer. Hey, you went there, not me. How many positions do you think you can guard in the NBA?
I say 3 or 4. I ain't gonna say all 5. Some of them dudes just be a little too tall. So I ain't.
You have to be a special player to guard all 5 positions. I don't throw that around lightly, but yeah, listen. I think you can actually keep up with certainly 1s and 2s, but I think you can guard some 3s at the NBA level. And that versatility, your awareness, your ability to quarterback a defense from the perimeter, that's going to carry over no matter where you go, and that's going to be something that NBA teams would certainly want to buy into with you. Offensively, your game really took off this past year scoring out of pick and roll sets, right? That was your most used play type per synergy. That was where you operated the best. How have you been able to develop that feel in pick and roll? Because it's not just being able to make a jump shot or make a layup. It's the cadence and the timing that goes along with playing out of pick and roll. How have you been able to develop that throughout your career?
Really throughout high school, that was a lot more of how I played. And then really, I'd say I give a lot of credit to my junior college again. Really, a lot of those hours and practices, we did a lot of ball screen works, and a lot of the sets we ran were putting me in ball screens and coming off and making those different decisions. So really just getting all those reps throughout these years, and really just getting an understanding of how different defenses move, and just reading different positions, and just seeing how different people guard different things, and also a lot of film. I mean, really just getting a better understanding of game, just game speed decisions, and really things like that just helped me get a better understanding of how I could make it more effective for me to score or distribute the ball, or really just do different things like that.
Absolutely. Distributing the ball out of that set is certainly important, right? So when you get up to the NBA level, a lot of what teams want to do, they want to run a lot of spread pick and roll, right? So have you made an emphasis in your pre-draft workouts and in becoming a better distributor out of those play types as well as a scorer?
Yeah, definitely. Really, a lot of my workouts have been a bunch of shooting and just really, like you said, this decision making and distributing the ball, and just making sure I get the right decisions when they come, and just working at that at game speed. And it's definitely improving a lot.
Absolutely. And when we talk about shooting, I know you said it is something you want to improve on, but what I love about your shooting and your scoring attack is that you create a lot of your own shots, right? So there's some players that we will look at that are more geared towards being, role players or bench guys or whatever the case may be, where they're not able to create their own shot like you can. Their assist rate on their 3-point makes will be incredibly high. Your assist rate on a lot of your makes, regardless of play type or area on the floor, it's usually underneath about 30%, which that to me says it's not just something that you can do. You're very comfortable doing that. What has gone into your improvement as a shot maker in terms of you being able to set other guys up, being able to jerk them out of their position and ultimately set yourself up for those types of isolation looks or one-on-one looks? Where does that comfort level come from? How's that developed?
Really, a lot of it's come to me just naturally over the last 2 years, and also just working with my coaches at Wichita State. Really, Coach Brown, he just really just gave me the ball, and he was relying on me in a lot of different aspects. I mean, especially this last year, really just needing me to be the focal point of our offense, and really just kind of take over for us. And I mean, over time, it just got even better and better as he trusted me, and I just worked at little things, and he kind of gave me a lot of pointers on how I could be effective in that. And then really just watching a lot of YouTube over, I mean, some pro guys like the Derrick Roses, the Kyrie Irvings, a lot of old tape of them. So, I mean, really just seeing how they play and stealing a lot of moves from them. I mean, and it's all, like I said, been paying off for me.
Who are a lot of the guys? You mentioned a few. You mentioned Derrick Rose, Kyrie Irving. Who are a lot of the guys that you like to watch film of to really take something from their games?
Actually, I watched honestly a lot of Rajon Rondo, a lot of his old highlights. So I mean, that's
I
really
can
who I.
tell.
Yeah, I feel like that game, how he plays, is honestly just identical to how I am. So
Your hesitations, your pacing, how you're able to throw guys off to get to your spots. You love going to that floater in the lane, and when you can make it all the way to the rim, you're not afraid to jam it home on some guys either. I love that. Is that an underrated part of your game? Maybe something you'd like to show a little bit more, that you got some ups that you can dunk at home.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even in a lot of my pre-draft workouts, a lot of teams have been surprised at my athleticism, and I mean, it's impressed them. So I mean, really, just like you said, I mean, I'm not afraid to throw it down on somebody. I mean, it's my athleticism is a part of my game, and it's not just something I show on defense. So
You have to, absolutely. And then what goes into shooting as well, it's not just being able to shoot on the ball, but your catch and shoot game also really rates out incredibly well amongst your peers. Does that make you confident that you can play alongside another ball dominant guard in the backcourt, like a Terry Rozier is a good example to use in that type of role? Do you feel like you can play alongside another point guard at the NBA level as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even like situations like that, I feel like the last year or two, I haven't really been able to play that off-ball role too much because my team kind of relies on me to run the offense so much. But really, my first year or two of junior college, I mean, that's kind of what my role was. I was more of a spot-up shooter and a defensive player. So really, I mean,
Okay.
I got a good understanding of how that role is played before I really got to be the man of a team. So, I mean, it just gave me a better understanding of how the real professional career would be.
Absolutely. So have you been able to watch a lot of the playoffs recently?
Oh yeah, I've been watching almost every game.
I love it. So have I. You kind of have to, right, to keep studying and make sure you're up and aware on what's going on and what's working at the NBA level and what's working at the NBA level for the Miami Heat. There's a guy named Gabe Vincent who once upon a time was an undrafted guard, and he worked his way up to now he's been playing one of the biggest roles for a team that's in the NBA Finals. And I look at Gabe Vincent's game and the types of things that he likes to do on the court. I think you can do a lot of those things, and that's why I've really started to buy into your trajectory and where you could end up in the NBA. Would you compare yourself to somebody like a Gabe Vincent?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, he just does a lot of things that just compel to winning basketball. I mean, even if
Yeah.
there's nights he's not scoring more than 10 points, I mean, there's nights where he's scoring 20, 25. I mean, it's
Yep.
really just his overall game. He's making plays for others. He's defending at a high level, and he's really just impacted the game all over and being that second leader for Jimmy Butler when he may be off his game. So, really, he just finds ways to impact his team and winning. So.
Absolutely. Is that the biggest thing that you're about? Not just how many points you're scoring or how many assists, or you just want to win the game at the end of the day?
Nah, yeah, I'm a winner at heart. I don't like losing at all. So yeah, I don't care if I score 0 points, zero. If we win, that's all that matters.
I can tell, and I always get that answer from guys who want to play defense first. Like you don't go out there and guard guys and run that side of the court like you do, and can embrace losing, right? You don't want anyone to score anything on you at any time, and I love talking to players like that because I feel like that's important. And the players who I've seen succeed at the highest level in the NBA and or become the best versions of themselves, even if that's not a star level player, but the best versions of themselves. That's really what it comes down to is who they are as a person and what they're really embracing, bringing to the team from a locker room standpoint, not just the skill level on the court or how big they are or how fast they are. That's the type of player I feel can succeed in the locker room. And I love it, man. I'm continuing to buy into you, Craig. So what would you like NBA teams to know about you that they may not have already picked up on already in this interview, right? Like what is your message to an organization considering drafting or signing you?
Really, even with a lot of the pre-draft workouts and interviews I've had, a lot of teams are kind of picking up on what I've been saying about just how I can fit into almost any role that I'm thrown into. I mean, kind of like the Gabe Vincent you said, and really, I mean that whole Miami roster. I mean, besides Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler's trying to just fit into that undrafted or underrated type of player who just can really do almost anything to get on the court, and they know what it takes to win. And really, they're just bought in offensively and defensively. So I mean, it's just really just like you said. I mean, just understanding what you need to do to get on the court and really just doing whatever it takes to win is what I'd say.
Absolutely, Craig. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. Good luck to you in the rest of your journey, and hopefully we can meet again when you're rocking an NBA jersey, and I'll be sitting down interviewing you about what your career's looking like. All right.
Yes, sir. That sounds like a plan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Craig. And thank you, everyone out there watching this interview on YouTube. If you aren't subscribed to No Ceilings on YouTube, make sure you do so. You can follow me on Twitter at DraftDeeper. You can make sure you're following the collective at No Ceilings NBA on social media to get more updates about these types of interviews, everything else we have going on. And last but not least, the Substack, NoCeilingsNBA.com. Monday through Friday, even some Sundays, we're publishing content about the NBA draft. Make sure you're locked in. Stay tuned for more.